You can start. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Bonjour. Good afternoon or good evening, wherever you're from. So this is our webinar to present our MSc programs at Montpellier Business School. Thank you for joining us today. I am Carrie. I'm one of the admissions counselors at Montpellier Business School, together with my colleague, Judith. Hi, Judith.
Hi, bonjour, everyone.
And three of our professors from different MC programs, Donoxti, Oksana, and Wael. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your time this afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
For having us.
So we will start with Judith. She will be presenting Montpellier Business School, Montpellier as a student city, as well as the different information regarding our MC programs, the application process, and some important points to remember. Then we will be giving time to each of our professors with us this afternoon to talk about the MSc programs they're handling. And of course, we will also have time for your questions. So throughout the presentation, if you have any questions or if there's something you want to know, please use the chat box and we will get to answer your questions later on. So let's start. Go ahead, Judith.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Hi, everyone. Bonjour. I'm happy to introduce myself. I'm Judith, one of the admissions counselors at MBS, and I'm also an alumni of the school. I graduated a few years ago in 2015 from the Master in Management. I'm happy to have some special guests with us today. I would like, Oksana, if you would like to introduce yourself briefly, and then we'll go with Wael and Donoxti.
Yeah, sure. My pleasure. Is the sound okay for everybody?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, so good afternoon, everybody. My name is Oksana Grebinevych, and I'm professor of international business and strategy at Montpellier Business School and head of the entrepreneurship and innovative business models MSc specialization. So I have been with the school for the last 6 years, but in business education more than for 15 years basically by now. And before doing my academic career, I was an entrepreneur in Eastern Europe mostly, and also worked in consultancy. Nice to meet you all.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, would you like to go ahead, please?
Yes, thank you, Judith. Hi, everyone. So my name is Rouatbi. I'm a professor of finance at MBS, and I'm the head of the Global Finance MSc. I've been in MBS since 2016, and my main areas of teaching and research are corporate finance and market finance and corporate governance.
Perfect, thank you. And Donoxti?
Hi everyone, I'm Donoxti Baylon. I'm Professor of Strategy in the Management Strategy and Entrepreneurship Department. I've been at MBS, a very happy member of MBS since 2020. And prior to that, I did work in the UK and did work and study in the UK and the United States.
Perfect. Thank you so
and I'm
much.
the head of the MSc Digital Transformation and Business Consulting, of course.
Yes, very important. Thank you so much for being here with us today. So as Carrie mentioned, she'll be handling the chat today. So make sure that you ask all of your questions in the chat box. The idea today is to talk about the MSc program. So we will do, like she said, a brief, and then we will ask some questions to our professor here, as we are going to take advantage that they're going to give us some expertise, how they teach at the school and what's important for them, what they're looking for, well, among our students, future students that you're going to be, hopefully. So first of all, I'm going to share my screen. So the idea today is to discover all of our MSc, for those who don't know them, and to see how you're going to develop your expertise with one of our MSc programs. So we're going to see different topics today. Why France is a good idea, because if you're here, it means that you're interested in joining a French school located in the south of France. Then we're going to talk about Montpellier as a vibrant student city in France, the criteria that you should take into account when choosing your next schools, then the MSc programs that we have, and here the professors are going to introduce their programs very briefly, of course, and then some questions to our professors, and finally the question and answer that you have that Carrie will be handling. So why choosing France? What's interesting here is that you should consider France for several reasons. The world is your playground. Of course, you have the whole world where you could go, and you could go in different countries. And here you can go for France. Some reasons why. France has a very high quality of higher education, meaning that you will be studying in one of the top schools in France. And also your degree will be recognized at an international scale. Also, France is a world-class economic power with all the opportunities that it offers. You will also be in the heart of Europe. You have to know as well that France gives the stay back option, especially our programs of Masters of Science and MIM, Master in Management. Also, you have to know about some advantages that France offers to our students. You will have what we call the financial housing called the CAF, up to 180 euros deducted from each month of your rent. The free social security as well. So you will see that when coming to France, you have several advantages as international students or national students that you should consider. Also, the French language, of course, is one of the most important criteria that you should take into account. Even if you don't speak French, it's fine. You'll see that all along the year of your MSc program, you will have some French courses. So I'm not saying that you're going to be fluent in French in a few months, but for sure, this will be a nice way to get out of your comfort zone. And finally, France is an appealing destination for international students. We have students from different nationalities, and for sure, our professor will be mentioning that as well in their programs. Karia, did I forget something? Do you have anything to add regarding why choosing France is a good idea?
Yes, maybe I just would like to add something. So as my colleague Judith mentioned earlier, France is in the crossroads of Europe. It's good to know that with your student visa, you will get to visit many places in France, and you'll have time to discover the rest of Europe as well, if that's something that interests you. So being in Europe and being in France is a good way to get out of your comfort zone, know more about different cultures apart from your own. And of course, it's also an opportunity for you to share your own culture and identity with your professors and classmates coming from around the world.
Thank you so much.
Can I say, did we mention the food and the architecture?
Yeah, for sure.
Just so you know.
Yes, those are important elements. Thank you. So now we're going to talk about, a city called Montpellier, which is where we are located in the south of France. So you'll see that it's possible to study in English, as all of our MSc programs are taught in English, while living in the south of France. So what can we tell you about Montpellier? And if you would like to add something in addition, professors and Karia, feel free. So Montpellier is ideally located in the south of France. It's also cheaper than Paris, up to 40% cheaper. In terms of budget, you should count approximately between 600 to 800 euros per month. I mentioned before the CAF, which is the housing help, that helps you to deduct this from your monthly rent. Also, Montpellier is an international city with a lot of students, very dynamic, very vibrant. And we are located in the south, 3 hours from Paris by train and 3 hours from Barcelona. Karia, would you like to add something about Montpellier?
Coming from Southeast Asia, I'm actually originally from Manila in the Philippines. It's a nice place to live because it's mostly sunny throughout the year. The weather isn't too cold during the winter, and there are many places to visit, many different activities throughout the year. If you like sports, art, culture, and music, there are many museums as well in the city. And it's a very friendly and relaxed, there's a very friendly and relaxed vibe throughout the city among its students and the people who live in it as well.
Thank you so much. In addition, what's to know is that usually students, when you talk about France, you will think about Paris, of course, because it's the capital and it's a really nice place to visit. But we usually recommend our international students, even if you're coming from big cities, to choose a student city, and you have great schools in the student city, including MBS, of course, because this will be like this will feel like home. You will meet students, you will have your habits, you will see students from different places, and you have to know that Montpellier is not a village. We have approximately, I think it's 500,000 people, and one out of 4 people is a student. So it's a very young city and dynamic. So now I'm going to talk about the different criteria to help you choose your next school. Of course, here we're going to go quite fast as we're going to talk about the MSc programs, but you have to know what we're going to talk about, and especially how to choose your next school if not done yet. So some criteria that you should take into account is the academic excellence of the institution that you're going to join. What's to know is that MBS is one of the oldest schools of management in Europe. It's born in 1897. It's been now 125 years that we are born, and we have what we call accreditations. If one of the professors would like to explain what is an accreditation, as I have someone here
If I may say, so the triple accreditation means that we are accredited by AACSB, which is an American accreditation agency, AMBA, which is a British accreditation agency, and EQUIS. Only 1% of the business schools in the world are triple accredited, and we're also accredited by the Conférence des Grandes Écoles, which is the conference. It's the equivalent of the French Ivy League or the French Oxbridge, if you need to know.
Thank you so much, Donoxti. Also, you'll see that, well, when choosing a school like MBS, you'll be among the top schools in France, but also at an international scale. We invite you to check all of our rankings. You'll see that some of our MSc programs, but also our Master in Management. This one is ranked in the Financial Times, 56. And also you'll see that when you're going for a program, to study a program, the idea is also to prepare you for the professional world. So you're not just going to be sitting in a class and be listening to the professor, but you'll be actively participating to the classes, and we're going to ask the professor right after about the format of the class, what they expect from students, so that you have an idea of the expectations of the school, but also the professors. Here you have some pictures of the campus. So like Karia said before, it's a very sunny city in Montpellier, 300 days of sun. Of course, you're not coming on vacation, but it's always nice to be in a sunny city, and we are not too far from the sea, about 10 kilometers. So here you have some pictures. Yes?
Just one question.
Sure.
We also mentioned the fact that a large percentage of students who are graduated from the school, they can't find a job during the first year after graduation. I think it's around 80% or something like that, no?
Yes, it's exactly. 95. It's 95% actually, if not 98.
Yes, I think it's 96 or something like that. Thank you so much for adding that. Indeed, we have a team called the Career Center. And Karia, would you like to talk about the Career Center to explain our students very briefly how we prepare them for the professional world in addition to the different classes that we have?
Okay, so our Career Center has a team of dedicated professionals. So each student will have their own career counselor who will help them prepare for the professional world. So what does this mean? They will help you train for your interviews, help you brush up your CV. They will help you practice for different elements that you need to prepare for. And of course, they also organize different events on campus and online, like job fairs, and there's also a job board available to our students. So this reassures our students and our soon-to-be graduates that throughout every step of their preparations for the professional world, they have someone behind them to guide them and to help them make the best out of, to highlight their profiles and the learnings that they've had while they were students at the MBS. So it's something that not all schools have. So it's good to know that you will have your own dedicated career counselor, a professional in the field to guide you to better prepare your profile in Europe and abroad, if that's something that interests you.
Thank you so much. Why do we prepare you for the professional world? Of course, because, well, if you come to study in France, it's also to prepare you to enter the real life, which is work life. And the idea is also that we're going to help you through those workshops, but also through classes. You'll see that all the classes that you will have will be preparing you for the world that you're going to join after, meaning the different types of functions that you're going to have. So, like I said before, some pictures of the campus. And if you wish to see some videos, we invite you to check our YouTube channel, Montpellier Business School. And now we're going to talk about the MSc programs. So briefly, the MSc program is a specialized program. It can be done in 1 year for those who hold a 4-year bachelor, and it can be done in 2 years for those who hold a 3-year bachelor. For tuition fees, a 1-year MSc are 16,000 euros for the entire program. I'm going to explain then the structure of the program. And for a 2-year MSc, it's 25,000 for the entire program. We have up to 2,000 euros scholarship deducted on your first year of tuition fees. And this will be depending on your admissions results. So all the application file, and I'm going to explain that after, and the grade that you're going to get for the interview. And this is why we're here today. We're also going to give you some tips to maximize your chances of admission and maximize your chances to get a scholarship as well, to deduct it from your tuition fees. And also the program is fully taught in English. So what's an MSc program? It's a specialized program where you're going to become a specialist in one of our fields. And we have 3 professors here, head of programs, who are going to detail mainly their own program. But what you have to know is that the structure is pretty much the same for each program that I'm going to give you here. They're going to give you some ideas of topics that you're going to be studying, and we're going to ask them some questions so that you can really see what you're going to study next year, like learning by doing method, the case studies, and group work. So about the calendar, if you conduct MSc in 1 year or 2 years, it's pretty much the same calendar anyway. So from September to April, May, you'll be in class. So you will have a lot of courses and projects. Usually students have between 20 to 25 hours a week of classes. And then you have some projects, group projects, but also individual projects that you're going to conduct. Then you have 4 to 6 months of professional experience. So Caria mentioned already the support that you're going to have from the Career Center. They organize several events for you to maximize your chances of being employed, either for an internship, but also a job, because this is one of the goals here is to get you and help you to get a job, sorry. And also you have the thesis of master that you're going to conduct during your master degree. And I hope one of the professors will be able to explain here what are the expectations of the programs. So regarding the programs that we have the MSc, we have 4 families of MSc, we have 10 programs, some related to finance. Then we have 2 programs in marketing, 4 in business and strategy, and 1 in management. So regarding the family of finance, we have Wael here, will be able to talk about the global finance. So now we're going to ask you some questions, Wael, as this is your family, if I can say that. Can you tell us about the MSc Global Finance, what students are going to study, and in general, in all the MSCs related to finance? What kind of topics can they expect? Do you have special guests coming? And can you explain what's a daily, what's a normal day for students in your program?
Okay, for the global finance program, so it is quite a little bit different from the classical finance programs in the sense that the objective, the philosophy of the program is to bridge the gap between being an expert in market finance and being an expert in corporate finance. So the objective of this program is to make the student an expert in both of them, okay? So that in the professional world, they're gonna work in the corporate finance, so to undertake strategic financial decisions for the firm, to know how to choose an investment, a good investment for the firm, or financing method for the firm, etc. Okay, and an expert also in market finance. So you're gonna understand what are the stock markets, what are the financial products available in the world. Okay, so you're gonna be an expert. The student gonna be an expert in both of these 2 fields. Okay. Of course, this program, the student is gonna have many interesting courses. So some classical courses in finance, like corporate finance, market finance, financial markets, banking and regulation, etc. Okay, and some other more specific, more let's say sophisticated courses. Okay, for example, financial markets products, derivatives, financial statement analysis, foundations of risk management, etc. Okay, then throughout this program, you can have access to some, or you can have the opportunity to get some certifications. Okay, so personally, I'm teaching 1 course in Power Platform, and at the end of the course, you can have the possibility to take an exam that will allow you to get a certification from Microsoft that says that, okay, now you have the fundamentals, all the needed fundamentals in Power Platform. Okay. Also, some other examples to my knowledge, it's about Power BI is gonna be in the first semester also with Power Platform. Of course, the student gonna have the choice between whether to take the Power Platform or the Power BI course. Okay, they're gonna have also courses on soft skills, neuroscience, etc. And in the second semester also, they're gonna have more some specific courses on machine learning in finance, valuation and risk models, some other courses which are focused on ethics also, which are in line with the values of MBS, for example, compliance and ethics, fraud detection, etc. Okay, so these are the main points of this and the main philosophy of this program.
Thank you so much, Wael. Can you tell us about the type of students that you're looking for in terms of profile? Do you require students to have studied finance before? Do you accept all types of background? Can you tell us?
Okay, it's gonna be better if the student has some background in finance, but if the student does not have a background in finance, but the student, we see that the student is interested in finance, it's gonna be okay. Because, okay, for the first semester, let's talk about, for example, the 2 years MSc. The first year is gonna be a common program for all of the students. So even those who do not have a background in finance, they're gonna have all the needed basics in finance, okay? And even in the first semester of the second year, they're gonna be some courses who are gonna provide some background, some basic background in finance. And also what we require for the students is they know and believe in the values of MBS, okay? So ethics, diversity, all of this kind of stuff. And also they are ready and they have the ability to work with students from different cultures, with international students.
Can you tell us, sorry, yeah. Can you tell us about the nationalities that are represented, for instance, this year? What are the main nationalities that you have?
Okay, we have nationalities from, to my knowledge, Lebanon, India, Tunisia, many European, of course, French students from the US also, to my knowledge. So these are the main nationalities who are present in this program.
Okay, thank you so much, Wael. I'll get back to you regarding the tips for the interview of admission. So regarding the finance family, we have the MSc in Global Finance represented by Wael here. We don't have all the heads of programs today, but we have spots for all those programs, no worries. I just saw that in the Q&A session, so I would like to talk about this. It's because we couldn't have all the professors today. We had 3 that was already very good. Then we have the MSc in FinTech and Digital Finance, and finally MSc in Sustainable and Inclusive Finance. And I take the opportunity to inform you that we're going to have a masterclass on the 16th of March. You will receive an email anyway about this for sure. Then the second family that we have is the one in marketing. So for those 2 programs, the digital marketing and the luxury marketing, there's no specific background required in marketing usually, but we will still be evaluating your profile. What we suggest is that you consult with one of the admissions counselor, Carrier or I or some other of the team, and we'll be happy to guide you regarding the programs that much better. Yes? Okay. Then we have the business and strategy family. So we have the one in international business, which is mainly for students who wish to work in sales or to do business development. Some students who would like to handle some branches as well. For instance, if you are in France and would like to work abroad and launching the branch in another country, this is something that could be interesting for you. We have the one in big data and artificial intelligence, which is also open and very trendy right now, especially for IT profile. Digital transformation and business consulting, your turn. You'll talk about it better than I will.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, all MSc all open at the moment. Admissions is very competitive, so don't take too long. Just put your best foot forward. Thank you. So the MSc in Digital Transformation and Business Consulting is preparing you for 2 types of careers, although they overlap. One is digital transformation, meaning that you manage people, you manage experts, you manage projects that have a heavy technological dimension, right? And you have fundamental training in big data and AI, in different tools and techniques, although the technical tools tend to evolve very quickly. So one of the foundations of these MSCs is to learning how to learn, because technologies will evolve and become obsolete. So we develop certain cognitive, we develop certain mindset to be really curious, really driven, really interested in the new digital ecosystem, so that they can understand the technologies, use the technologies, but also be reflexive when they use the technologies. The second part is consulting. So we have dedicated courses if you want to work in consulting, whether it's digital transformation consulting or strategy consulting or organizational consulting at large. So we have dedicated course on organizational analysis so that you can have a diagnosis for organization, and then how to work on solutions, how to convince boards and directors on the solutions, and how to implement the solutions with heavy understanding, with a good understanding of the politics of change and the implementation issues. And finally, we have some courses that are more soft skills, such as leadership development and a really, really good understanding of the global business environment, especially strategy under the triple disruption, that is environmental disruption, geopolitical disruption, and technological disruption. What are we looking for with the students? Intellectual curiosity, because technologies evolve so quickly, you have to be really curious and really eager to learn, and we will help you with that. If you have a background in engineering and you want to gain a competency in management, that would be good. If you want to have a background in management and you want to have a really good, solid training in technology, that would be good. Or if you're coming from another sector, but you're really interested in these topics, we have two options. The 2-year MSc program, if you have no management training, perhaps it would be helpful to have a first-year foundational course and then move up to the second year. Or if you have already worked in either digital consulting or perhaps a direct admission to the second year would be acceptable. Did I answer most of the questions?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. So you mentioned also that it's not always necessary to have a background in consulting, but it's always nice to see other types of profiles. Can you tell us what kind of, how can I say, like the jobs opportunities after?
Okay. So a lot of them work in the tech sector or tech functions within other companies at the corporate headquarters level, or they manage digital technology intensive projects, or they work in consulting, whether it's strategic consulting, whether it's organizational analysis consulting, and some of them work in business development.
Okay, thank you so much. Now we're moving up to Oksana. Can you tell us about the entrepreneurship program? What kind of main courses they're going to have, and what type of business are you looking for if you're looking for a specific profile?
Yeah, sure, with pleasure. So the full name of the program is Entrepreneurship and Innovative Business Models. And the program itself is aimed to help people to develop two types, potentially, of careers, either as independent entrepreneur, that is to start or to develop further an enterprise after the graduation, or to become a part of an established already organization as an innovator, or as innovative project manager or business developer. So either as an independent entrepreneur or to become an employee. The choice is open for the students of this program after the graduation. As for the entrepreneurs, so basically we help people, our students, it doesn't matter if you have already an idea in mind, a strict idea in mind, what you want to do as an entrepreneur, or you just have this inspiration of becoming an entrepreneur. In both cases, the program is going to be helpful. We start with basically fundamentals of entrepreneurship, where we talk a lot about business model development, about, first of all, idea, how to develop the idea itself, and business model development, growth of an enterprise, and entrepreneurial exit, what we call, when you become a successful entrepreneur, for example, and you want to sell your business, right? And maybe to start another one. Here we are talking of both types of entrepreneurs in classic sense, for profit, and also socially oriented entrepreneurship. then the whole program, this is, I'm talking about the very beginning, fundamentals of entrepreneurship, but basically the different stages of enterprise development present throughout the whole program, from A to Z of the entrepreneurial process. For those who are probably keeping more an eye on becoming innovator within an established organization, corporate and intrapreneur, what we call. We have courses dedicated to business model innovation themselves, and how to develop innovative projects. As for also what is very important to mention is that we have within our school entrepreneurship center, and the center itself is helpful for those who want to develop his or her own enterprise, because here you can have very personalized coaching process basically, and also if you develop further your idea into real enterprise or real organization, we might help you also to find maybe investors. It's depending again on the stage of your business plan or enterprise development. So this is how I answer the questions. For the types of potential students we are looking for, so basically, given that the program could be either 2 years program or 1 year program, for those who don't have any idea and any background in business, probably I would advise to go for the 2 years program, meaning that it doesn't matter what was your previous background, right? And for those who have some ideas about business, some conception of management, 1 year program would suffice actually. And the background could be very diverse. You can be an engineer, for example, who have very strong understanding of engineering processes, but have very little understanding of business processes. In this case, we could help you to match your skills, concrete skills in your previous background, and to help you to understand how to develop business idea and how to commercialize, what is very important. I guess this is my short cover.
Perfect. Thank you so much. You've done it better than I do. And finally, we have the MSc in supply chain management, so which is mainly related to supply chain logistics, topics. If you have any questions regarding all of those programs, regarding the structure that we mentioned, please let us know. We'll leave the general email here, and we'll be happy to, if needed, connect you with the professors, but also the current students. They had class today, so they couldn't join us. Of course, class is more important, but feel free to write us, and we'll be happy to connect you with the people that you need.
Judith, before you move on, we have one question. Somebody's asking about the possibility of working as an international student in France, and maybe you can tell us the number of hours and the different kinds of student jobs that our international students can look at, and how easily can one get a scholarship, before we move on to the details of the different MSCs.
Perfect, no problem. So the study and work is possible up to 20 hours a week. So you have to know that legally you can work up to 20 hours. Most of the jobs, as we are in France, are usually in French. So if you don't speak French, this can be challenging, even if those are jobs where a high level of French is not always required. But still, you have to know that some French will still be needed, such as a waiter or bartender or receptionist. Some students also give they teach some English classes, for instance, and other types of student jobs. But yes, you can work up to 20 hours. I've also seen someone asking if this is possible to do the MSc in alternance, and no, it's not possible. It's a full-time program. The number of hours that you're going to have within each program is approximately 20 to 25 hours a week, approximately, besides the personal and group work that you're going to have. So I will finish with the admissions requirements. So what's to know is that students accepted for this program need to have at least a 3-year bachelor to be eligible for a 2-year MSc, or a 4-year bachelor for a 1-year MSc. You've heard before the recommendations of the professors, depending on how developed is your professional project, and we'll be here to help as counselors. Sometimes you will need to do a 2-year MSc just to make sure that you'll be comfortable in your studies. So first of all, you'll need to complete an application online where you'll have to submit a resume, a statement of purpose, and it's like a cover letter, and a transcript of the 3 last years of studies. So basically all your bachelor degrees. and the previous higher degree, which will be your bachelor degree. Then you'll be taking an English test with the understanding, writing, speaking, and listening of 25 minutes, except if you already have a TOEFL, IELTS, or TOEIC, we'll be taking that. And finally, the live interview, which will be with one of the professors. You have some of them here, some of them couldn't be attending. And my question here to, well, Donoxti, can you give us some elements that you're looking for when you meet students for the live interview? What will be like a key for success?
That's a really good question. There is no like one key. I say to be curious, to be driven, to be open to learning a lot, to be open to change because you're going to move to another country and try out a new career. We'll look at the degrees, but they will also look at, you know, emotional intelligence, different skill sets. The interview is not a tough interview. The goal of the interview is to get to know you and to have a good conversation with you and to see how we can help you succeed for your future career. And so we are looking at that for the most part. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, perfect. Wael, do you have some tips of students that you're looking, well, of what kind of questions, if not, we're not going to tell the students what questions we ask, but what kind of questions you ask to students so that they don't get too scared, but they prepare enough?
You mean what type of questions we ask to the students during the interviews?
Yeah, but not saying all the questions, but what areas are you covering?
Okay, generally the questions are based first. Okay, generally we don't ask many technical questions. Okay, if I want to ask really a technical question, is what do you know about finance in general during the first interview, just to know whether the student is really interested in finance and has the ability to understand the content of the different courses, just to have a very first idea. Then, as Donoxti said, the objective of the questions is to know about the curiosity of the student. Is the student ready to learn some new information about finance, etc., and whether the student is gonna be open to work with students from different cultures. This is a very important point. Okay. And also one of the objectives of the interview is also to assess a little bit the level of English of the student. This is also one of the important points.
Okay, thank you so much. And Oksana, do you have anything to add? What kind of criteria are you looking for? What will be a go or no go with the students so that they don't make the mistakes?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I'm looking what type of personality the person is, and to learn something in addition than what has been written on the documents. You know, you can learn a lot about from the motivation letter and CV, but it's a personal touch to see the person, him or herself, first of all. And my advice would be yourself, first of all, and really to be curious and do a little bit of your homework as well, because it always pays off. Meaning, look at the MBS website, understand what the school is about the value of the school, understand and try to relate how it fits with your own values, the values that we advertise here at the school. This is my major probably a recipe for the success.
Thank you so much.
Anything Can I add something? Sorry.
Yes.
Can I add something about what makes a school special? So I'm going to be like very romantic for a second. But,
let's go.
It's a global school, meaning that we have all the continents, all the countries represented. So you have to be really comfortable with talking and interacting with very different perspectives and very open to that. It's a school that prides itself in really walking the walk on diversity and inclusion, meaning that we're a very welcoming school from all walks of life. And we have some really strong focus on the environment and sustainable business. So it's important to know about this because, for instance, in the MSc, you will have sustainable innovation or sustainable entrepreneurship or sustainable finance. We think about the long-term consequences of the business decisions that we make. So, and we believe it's important.
Thank you so much for the input.
We have several questions from the Q&A box. This is
let's go.
Yeah, this is for everyone, I guess. We have a number of attendees asking and sharing that they already have a number of years of work experience. Will it be possible for them to apply for the shorter MSc, which is a 1-year program, even if they have, let's say, only 3 years of their undergraduate degree, or they really have to take the 2-year MSc if they have a 3-year undergraduate or bachelor's degree? Because some of them are saying that they have, let's say, more than 5 years of work experience, but they want to take a shorter MSc. So will it be possible for them, or they really have to take the longer 2-year MSc?
I can answer. In terms of admissions, we have rules, and some rules cannot always be like, I don't know how to say it, but I have the gesture. So if you have a 3-year bachelor, you will be eligible for a 2-year MSc. Even if you have more than 5 years of experience, unfortunately, this will not be an okay decision for admission to go for a 1-year MSc. And if you have a 4-year bachelor, you will be eligible for a 1-year MSc. This is also when you go for visa procedure, Campus France, which is the organization where you're going to go for all the visa procedure that you're gonna have to do. You have to know that they'll be looking at your transcript, and even if you have a lot of experience, and this is very valuable for courses, and when you're going to look for a job as well, of course. But in terms of academics, you have to know that they'll be looking at the numbers of years that you've completed. And in France, a master degree is 5 years. So if you've done 3 years of bachelor degree, you have 2 years left for a master. And if you've done a 4-year bachelor, it's 1 year, even if you have a lot of years of experience. So this is like the rule that we have for admission. Karia, if you want to add something related to that.
Yes, that's correct. And also it's actually it's a related question. For example, there are some questions from our audience today that are concerning. For example, if they come from, let's say, a different background, but they want to take something more technical, let's say the big data and AI or one of the finance specializations, they are kind of worried that they don't have the specific background for the program that they want to take. So what would be our advice to those who are looking for, let's say, a career shift, or to build on their current business knowledge to have something more to add to their portfolio? What would be our advice for those looking for that kind of career shift?
This will be for professors.
I think it's going to be okay for them, especially for those who are going to apply for the 2 years MSc, because during the first year, they're going to have some courses that will prepare them. For example, in the case of finance, they can have many basic courses in finance. So by the end of the first year, they can have all the necessary background to take to be a student in the second year of MSc in that specific field. Okay, and even for the 2 years, during the first semester, they can have some courses that will prepare them, or they're gonna be kind of refresher of some basics in finance. This is for the finance case.
Thank you so much.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Yes.
I think the 2-year MSc is more of an opportunity because you have more time to get accustomed to the French culture, to learn French. And also you can use this opportunity to do a summer internship at the end of the first year if you want to, which would add more experience and more credentials to your resume. So think of it as an opportunity.
In relation to that, actually, I don't know if you mentioned this earlier, although the MSc is completely taught in English, part of the program will be French classes for international students. So it's not something to worry about if you don't know French before coming. Of course, it would be good to learn by yourself, like the basic phrases and things to know in French, because it will really help you once you arrive here in Montpellier. But there will be French classes for international students, maybe, I think, if I remember correctly, around once or twice a week, as part of your list of classes for each semester.
And you also have, when you arrive, if you arrive on time, and we hope you will, beginning of September, you have 28 hours of French mandatory for those who are not French-speaking country, of course. So we make sure that you arrive on time. We like when students arrive like beginning of September, end of August even, to well get acquainted with the French environment and make sure that you don't miss everything we have for you during the intake.
Since we are talking about arriving on time, maybe we would also like to inform them of the application timeline so they have an idea of how long they have to prepare.
Sure. So the application, first, you have to complete all the documents that I mentioned before. So the resume, the cover letter, and the transcript. So once you have that ready, you can submit them on the platform. We'll be here to help as admissions counselor with Carrie and the rest of the team. Then usually the team takes a few days to evaluate your file. They can be very quick. It's usually up to you. Sometimes we wait for you to submit all of your documents and pay for the application fees of 90 euros. The team will be evaluating your file, and then you'll be receiving a mail. Make sure that you always check your email to select a time slot to schedule your interview with one of the head of the programs or professors. So if you see one of the professors here or some others, you won't be surprised because you've met them before. So it will be up to you to select the time slot of your choice. And then a few days after, you will get the answer. So usually the whole process, I would say it's between 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how fast you are as well. If you take ages to get your transcripts and to do your resume, of course, you will not get an answer as fast as if you have everything ready already and you do it like in a few days now. Also, we are right now entering a high season, and we usually suggest our students to make the decision, well, this is the right period right now to get all the information you need. But before June, we would say that it's best if you have your admission, if you get selected, of course, so that then you can focus on preparing your arrival in France because you're changing country. You need a visa, you need an accommodation, etc. So this takes time. It can take up to 3 months sometimes to get a visa. So make sure that I would say by the end of May is best to have all the admissions related ready, and then we can focus on the next steps, meaning preparing your arrival in France.
Some other questions for us. Let's see. So for this is not for the MSc actually, but there's a question: what if because we've mentioned that the MScs are all in English, what if there are French-speaking students who don't speak English very fluently? What are the other options for them in terms of the master's program?
We have the Master in Management program, which is a 2-year program, and well, it's a different program, of course. Here it's more general, and then they can specialize in one of our MSCs actually, or go for the alternance, meaning that the companies pay for the tuition fees and they can work and study at the same time. And this is a program taught in French with some English courses. So usually in those classes we have more French-speaking students from France and other countries who speak French.
Yes, and you mentioned correctly that at the end, during the MIM, they can do a double degree with the MSc. So if you're not an English speaker, you could join the French program, take English courses and apply to the dual degree. That would be an option too.
Perfect, thanks.
Some other questions. Will this session be available for a replay for those who want to take a look at it again afterwards?
Sure, it will be available. We will have the recording right after the session. And also, if you need more information, because we couldn't cover everything, of course, in an hour, let us know. We'll be happy to answer your question through WhatsApp or by email or video conference. Or if you wish to speak with our students as well, let us know as well.
Okay, some other questions. For the professors, what are some of the out-of-campus activities that your programs have? Apart from the usual workshops and lectures on campus, are there any special activities that the students can take part in that are outside the campus?
So I'll say a few things. If you want to understand the vibe of Montpellier, it had the first university, the medicine university in Europe, in the 13th century with a very strong, it's a very large student body. So it's kind of an Oxford vibe, but also it's very dynamic. It's in the south of France. It's a very lovely city with lots of bars, lots of cultural life. So it's kind of Barcelona meets Oxford vibe. So there are many activities, and there is a really strong cohort spirit, meaning that they the students, for instance, in my degree, but in other degrees, they hang out with each other, they travel a little bit together. They really form a really nice family. So yes.
And yes, also the students within many of the programs, there are trips organized for students. I know that this week, for example, if I'm not mistaken, finance students who went to Luxembourg, for example, for educational trip, basically. There are educational trips incorporated within the programs.
Thank you, Oksana, for mentioning this. For instance, for digital transformation, we're going to French Tech and going to go to clusters of innovation to try to understand innovation ecosystems, for instance. So thank you for reminding me that.
Thank you to both of you for those very interesting answers to the questions. Judith, maybe we just want to show the email address where they can contact us for further questions.
Sure, no worries.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I will add a little bit also that, guys, except along with the kind of academic knowledge, there are different types of activities incorporated within the courses that aimed at getting you practical knowledge and practical touch with real life business world. For example, we have a course which is called Start Me Up, and this is the consultancy project basically where the firm proposes different problems that they're really facing right now, and a group of students are working on those problems together with under supervision of professors and coaches to solve this type of problems. This one type of professional real life activities, let's say. Of course, for students of entrepreneurship program, there are opportunities to develop really a business model of the organization or potential startup, or if the idea is not that mature, it could be a prototype organization. What we call prototype organization is basically that you are developing an organization from A to Z on a paper, but you are going through the coaching process. You have opportunities to talk to professionals, have opportunities to talk to different types of entrepreneurs, and go through the programs of Entrepreneurship Center as well. So just a few things to add here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I forgot the question about the method of teaching. Thanks for adding this.
Maybe before we end, any last few words or tips from our professors this afternoon?
Who wants to go first?
Well, maybe I will repeat myself here, but be yourself, and I will capitalize on your words, Donoxti. Be curious, really curious. Learn about this school. Think how the values of this school are matching with your own values, your own life. Try to think of practical aspect of this, and again, be yourself. And be inspired and hard worker as well. And very practical question for those, actually advice for those who are really getting through the visa process. It's really would be nice if you're making your decision by June, not to have this hassle of getting a visa, because this might be also an issue in some cases, unfortunately. And it's not only related to France, but to many other countries in Europe, unfortunately. So as early you are prepared, the better for you.
Thank you, Oksana. Wael, would you like to go next?
Yeah, maybe just one last word about, I don't know if the question has been asked or not, but if you want to know also about the teaching methodology here in the MSc programs in MBS. So it is based on e-learnings and face-to-face sessions. So typically 20% of each course is based on e-learnings. So the student can have access at home to the content of the course and prepare some 20% of the course by him or herself, okay? And the remaining parts are taught in class.
Merci beaucoup.
And to complete on that, thank you, Wael and Oksana, for this. Expect a lot of high energy discussions in the classroom. For instance, in my course, we talk about the news. For instance, we talked about Twitter and managing Twitter in last course, and so lots of debates, lots of like questioning and high energy. Come ready because it's intensive, but it's good. Awesome. It's good fun. There is a really nice atmosphere during the classes, I find.
Thank you to the three of you for your tips and for your very precious advice to our potential candidates. It's very helpful, and it's nice to have these kinds of knowledge directly from the professors of our different programs. Judith, how about you? Is there anything you want to say before we end?
Don't be scared to get out of your comfort zone. I'm going to quote someone that I heard, one colleague from another school, who said that when you're coming to go for a master degree, you're going to get 2 master degree. You're going to get the MSCs that you're going for, but also the master degree of life. So when you get out of your comfort zone, you go out of in a country where you may not speak the language, but of course you're going to learn a lot. You're going to meet great people wherever you go anyway. And this will be a unique opportunity in your life. So student life is not going back after. So make sure that you enjoy. And
can I say something? A big thank you to Judith and Karia, because I've had feedback from current students that they have found you super helpful during the process.
Thank you.
We're really happy of the level of support they have been provided with when they moved to France and everything. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the feedback. Yes, and so that is also a nice way to end our session today. So yes, we are here, Judith and myself, and together with others of our team. If you have any questions about the application process, the different documents you need to submit, any questions about the interview and the different tests, if necessary, we are here to give you a hand. You can send us an email. You can find the address on screen, and we will be there to help you at every step. Just to wrap up, everyone has said this, it's better to start your applications early to avoid any issues later on with the visa or something else. So thank you for your time this afternoon. I hope that everyone found this session very informative and interesting. We look forward to having you with us in Montpellier in September. So thank you, everyone. Thanks, Judith.
Thank you so much. Thank you, professors.
Thanks, Wael. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Au revoir.
I'll see you on campus in Montpellier in September.
Yeah, bye, guys.
À bientôt.
Merci. Au revoir.
Merci, au revoir.